Hey, what it do, YouTube? It's your boy Q, and we're just over a week away from the start of ALGS Split 1 playoffs, and we've already talked to a few folks over here on the channel heading into LANdon. We've gotten to talk to an org CEO looking to best their last performance, a player getting ready for their first LAN event, but today we get to talk to one of the OGs of OGs when it comes to Apex, one of like the first creators slash competitors signed by an org for Apex Legends dating back to 2019, and one of the top coaches in the NA scene, and it's been like that for quite some time. Longtime member of Cloud9, but now the coach responsible for helping the boys from Dark Zero look to defend their LAN title in London. PvP, first off, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to sit down with your boy and chat some Apex. How you doing? And for anyone that's watching that doesn't know about PvP, tell us a little bit about yourself, fam.
Long story short, I've been streamer slash pro for about 7 years. Transitioned from a game called Overwatch into Apex. Played pro for a couple of years, and then eventually stepped away and got really interested in coaching. Picked up a team on Cloud9, coached them for quite a while, and then most recently in this past pro league, I joined Dark Zero, and we're getting ready to go to the London playoff LAN.
And I'm sure you got to be pretty excited about that. Now, before we really start digging into like kind of your role as a coach, I got to ask, as somebody who was, signed in really before like the competitive Apex scene really kind of got to what it is, I got to ask, did you ever imagine the scene reaching these levels? And with that, I kind of want to ask a little bit about the journey, I guess, essentially as one of the day oneers.
To be honest, I'd be lying if I said yes, because in the early version of Apex, I actually played kill race tournaments for quite a while. And that wasn't really what I wanted to do when I played professionally. So like the first half of my like pro Apex career was playing kill race tournaments.
Gotcha. Okay.
And eventually customs came out, and that's what I really loved, and I enjoyed that for a while. And then unfortunately COVID hit, and I feel like that really tanked Apex quite a bit. And I was also like right about when Valorant came out. That's when I actually stepped away from Apex, and that was when I quit playing professionally. So I was supposed to go to the first ALGS tournament in Texas. I qualified for that with my teammates. One of them still plays today. It's Nasky. He's also going to be going to London LAN.
From KCP. Okay.
Yep. That's a crazy story. Whole different story. We ended up flying him from EU to NA just to play in the qualifier. But yeah, so that was the last tournament I played, was the qualifier to go to that LAN, and I qualified. We were supposed to go, and then it got canceled. And I was like, damn, like pro Apex is like tough right now. It's like not a lot of money. A lot of orgs are backing out, stuff like that. I took a break, went to Valorant, and I started coaching in Valorant because I had never played a tactical shooter before.
Gotcha.
And
okay.
I knew like I had the brains behind it, but I just, I was so far behind from all the CS pros that were transferring over that I wanted to be a part of the pro scene, but knew I wasn't going to be like a pro player for a long time if
fair.
I did grind it.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, well, I absolutely love competitive Valorant. I think it's actually considerabably better than Apex, to be honest. But,
I love watching it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Apex is its own thing, so you can't really compare them. But anyways, the reason I stepped away from Valorant, I was actually doing really well coaching, is because streaming that game is just, it was so boring to me. Like it's such a, you have to be so locked in at all times. There's no real like, messing around with your like friends, whatever. Apex is like the good balance of competitive and fun, streaming wise. So that's why I returned. I was like, I'm going to go back to Apex and stream Apex. And that was my main source of income at the time. And then eventually C9 hit me up, and they're like, hey, do you want to pick up a team? And I was like, yeah, can I coach them? And they're like, yeah, sure. And I was like, so I picked up my team. We did really well, and I've been coaching ever since. And Apex has been going up and up, surprisingly, since after COVID has been kind of slowing down. And this past like year, Apex has been really booming competitively.
Yeah, I was one of the latecomers kind of coming to watch it, but I really kind of fell in love with this scene. Luckily, I got to go down to Raleigh and kind of see what everything was like, there in person. So
that was a great tournament.
Yeah, it was good. The vibes were immaculate. Now, I did want to ask one thing as far as because I know like the coach role isn't often been like necessarily like a popular one, and while we're seeing some more teams, I'd say more and more teams really at this point officially filling that position in. Walk me through like what your role of the coach is. I'd imagine it's a lot of obviously VOD reviews and a heck of a lot of like number crunching and data compiling, but it's more than that, right?
Yeah, so definitely coaching can be different depending on the team you are in. And also, as of most recently, a lot of teams have been picking up analysts to do specifically data work to figure out like get the information that the coach can use to utilize.
Gotcha. Okay.
For a long time, I was kind of filling both that roles, partially analyst, partially majority coach.
Hmm.
Coaching my style is I was an IGL when I played, and my macro play is like my forte. I absolutely
Okay.
love macro play. That was the strength that I brought to C9 was I took like 3 really good fighting edge players and I just glued them together with good macro strats on the edge. For Dark Zero though, like joining a team that won back-to-back lands, it's I feel like it could only look bad if they don't get first again for me. So I'm coming in with a little bit of rough end, but I've been doing a lot of work for them. I've been helping Zero with a lot of VOD reviews, helping separate our macro play because he has a lot of differences. He's a bit more aggressive than I am, so I think we balance each other out really well. But overall, a coach for a team is, especially if you have one that was previously a pro player that can acknowledge a lot of like micro mistakes. It's
Gotcha.
the glue for a team that can see things from an outside perspective. So like when you have 3 players that are playing, you have the 4th person that's watching, and he can catch so much more than just the players themselves. So yeah, it's really it really rounds out rosters when you have a coach that can do a lot of different things.
So coaching then, I would imagine, as far as an Apex, is really more pre and post event, whereas like sometimes when you say in sports, it's still during the event. Because do you have much contact with like the boys while they're playing, or?
So coaching in Apex, you can't talk to them while they play during the game, but after they die, you can talk to them after they die and also between games.
Okay.
So I would say 95% of the work I do is preparation for LAN. And then while we're at LAN, I'm there to help hold together the team mentally, remind them of certain things. If I see a way that the lobby is playing, then I can make last second adjustments at LAN. But yeah, once we get there, it's majority is in the players' hands, and it's just up to me to kind of hold it together and make sure that we do what we went there to do.
Man, so that almost amps that pressure you were talking about more so, right? Because once you guys touch down in London, it's almost like, I don't want to say hands off, but most of the hard work's done, right?
Yeah, it's like the last, let's see, I fly out within the next week and the tournament starts within the next 2 weeks. So it's really about polishing what we already know what we want to do and fixing some last second mistakes. So yeah, that's about it. We're pretty much ready to go. There's not really, we got our comps locked in, we got our drop spots locked in. Like everything is solidified, and we're just getting ready for finals.
So over the years, you've been like a man of many hats, obviously, when it comes to Apex, right? Like content creator, competitor, coach. I'm curious of 2 things. One, what was it? You kind of already touched on this a little bit, but like, I guess we go a little bit further on. What was it that attracted you more so to the coaching role as opposed to the competitor role, especially coming back to Apex? I know you kind of said coaching more so for Valorant was to be a part of the scene, but also with that, has there ever been that itch to come back and more fill in as that competitor role, or are you just happy to coach?
Definitely. I was very satisfied with my pro play and my qualifications and my ability to play as a pro, and I feel very confident that I could actually IGL and play professionally in pro league to this day right now. And I'm actually listed as a player on the Dark Zero roster. I'm actually not listed as a coach because I'm the team sub. So if anything ever happens, then I will be stepping in for the team. I actually did that within the past few weeks. I played in the oversight tournament for my team.
I remember that. Yeah.
And we actually placed 4th. So I was pretty happy with how I played in that tournament. But yeah, anyways, yeah, definitely playing is it's extremely fun. I think at this point in my life right now, I might return as a pro player in the future, but I just recently, bought a house, and job security as a coach is definitely a lot safer than a lot of pro players. Like all 3 of the players that I had just coached from Cloud9 are all free agents right now, and they're all three crackheads. But like when you don't have income coming in the table because there's so much competition in pro play and there's so limited spots, like you're seeing most recently so many teams being dropped. Like Sentinels just got rid of their entire roster. There's rumors of many other teams being broken up right now. And to be honest, like the coaching is a lot less stressful and it's a lot higher for job security, in my opinion. So right now, I'm just very happy with my position, and yeah, I'm just happy with where I'm at right now.
I guess with that job security, it's one of those things where when a roster gets released, it's only one coach on the free agent market versus 3 players sort of position when it comes to trying to fill somewhere else. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of top orgs that don't even have a coach right now, and some have recently signed some. Like NRG just picked up an analyst. I'm trying to think. KCP, Nasky's team, they just picked up a coach, but there's a lot of other teams that don't even have one. So yeah, there's still open positions for a coach in the future. And maybe if it becomes overcrowded, then I'll just be like, I'll just IGL
Go
team
back.
and just take someone else's spot as a player. So
There you go. There you go. That's always nice to have that second option. So you've talked
yeah.
you've talked a lot about obviously when you've like joined Dark Zero, and I kind of want to talk about the process of that, right? Because I know previously I talked about the squad over here on the channel, and I think around the scene there had been some questions about the team's transition into NA, right? But we saw shortly after you joined the roster, we saw the team teaming like they really seemed to catch their stride. So I'm curious, how much would you credit that to obviously them getting more comfortable in their new environment, their new schedule? I mean, let's be honest, the boys moved halfway across the world, right? That's not easy. And how much would you kind of implement, or would you like take a little bit of credit for that as far as bringing in some of that new strategies, tactic, that new set of eyes?
Yeah, so one of the big reasons why Dark Zero wanted to pick me up was because they were doing the transition from Apex South Australia to NA, and they're going to be playing in the NA Pro League. And I was an NA coach. I've had some accomplishments in the past, and I was very good friends with Jen Burton. I'd actually never talked to Zero before, never talked to Sharky before, but I did like a trial period with them. They really liked what they had, so I ended up jumping in, and I jumped in probably about a week before they started playing in NA Pro League. So it was, I'm not going to lie, it was a rough NA Pro League for us. We clenched out the 10th place position to get the last invite to LAN. And it was a very difficult last day. We had to land dome to avoid getting griefed. And it was pretty crazy, but it was definitely rough because we didn't have that period of time to, fight for a drop spot for Pro League, which is the, in my opinion, with the balance of like World's Edge, for example, like you have to have a POI. And I believe we landed at 6 different POIs throughout Pro League, which is something that Dark Zero is very known for, is flex dropping. They won both champs and Sweden, the last 2 lands, I believe, from 4 different POIs.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. So Dark Zero is very known for flex dropping. They didn't have their own POIs claimed. One of them was actually Lava Siphon in Apex South, but I don't believe they like landed there in finals. But yeah, anyways, Pro League, it was definitely very helpful for me to join the team because I had already known all the players and all of the pro teams in NA. So I helped with that transition, pointed out like, strats for a lot of the teams, and it was very close. But I'm looking forward to obviously LAN, but the next Pro League, because we have really we flipped the switch. And we're starting to play a little bit less passive. We're going to play a lot more aggressive to take establishment in the NA scene and earn our drop spot for the next Pro League. So hopefully it would be a lot more dominant this next upcoming Pro League.
Would you say part of that passiveness was just kind of while you were getting acclimated, having the boys getting used to, not obviously it's one thing having your perspective, but obviously also playing through it week after week? Is that kind of part of the reason for the change after this?
Well, our initial idea in the first Pro League, because we had I joined a week before we started, and I think I was announced to like even after the first like week of Pro League. Our idea was to play to avoid getting griefed because we weren't going to spend our entire Pro League just contesting teams off drop over and over and over. So we'd pick like a list of top POIs and be like, listen, this is open this day. We'll go here. We'll build strats the week before. We'll work on that. But since we have time to earn a drop spot for this next Pro League, we've been actively fighting for spots. We're fighting Optic right now for Mill, and we're also fighting Complexity for Frag East, which I don't know if they're still going to be landing there. We'll find out soon, but I look forward to this next Pro League because we're going to have established drop spots.
So, LANdon is right around the corner, but before we kind of touch on LANdon here, you talked a little bit as far as regional finals, right? Heading into that final weekend, it almost looked like Dark Zero was actually, y'all were on the outside looking in. It almost looked like y'all were going to need the dub essentially in order to qualify, although second place ended up getting you guys where you needed to go. What were the vibes like heading into regionals? Was it almost like a playing with nothing to lose, or did you guys feel like the pressure heading in?
So I live in Florida, and the boys live over in Texas, and Dark Zero really wanted me to, when they signed me, they really wanted me to live with them. And I told them, I was like, I just bought a house, that can't happen, but I'm willing to, fly there and stay there during Pro League. So they flew me out, and I lived with the boys for about 3 or 4 weeks during Pro League, and I was with them during that final day. I was in the house, and it was, you would think that they'd be like, sad or whatever, because we on paper it looked like we needed to get top two
Right.
to make it to LAN. But really, I told them, I was like, listen, on paper we need top two, but I guarantee you there's going to be at least one team in the top 10 that does not perform well. And if they don't perform well, then our number skyrockets. All we need is like a top six, top seven, something like that.
Right.
So as long as we just do our thing, play how you guys know how to play, and we just perform, then we're chilling. And the thing that sucked is on World's Edge, we really wanted to go Frag West. We were loving Frag West, but there were other teams that were claiming that drop spot that they just didn't care if they were going to fight off drop. They were higher on the leaderboard, so they could afford to have more games be griefed.
Right.
So instead of opting to fight off drop, we opted to go dome, which is notoriously like probably one of the worst POIs in the entire game.
Right.
And no one even, like, most of the time, no one even lands dome. It's like the Lava City team just takes it for free. And we're just like, we're just going to go dome. We'll do our thing. It's finals. People are going to be like aping. The lobby's going to die out quick. We'll just, we'll loot up. We'll take our time. And we ended up placing second that day. So we clinched out the last spot. And the Furia, like I said, one of the teams didn't perform well. Furia, unfortunately, did not perform well that day.
Mhm.
And realistically, I think all we needed was like an 8th or a 9th or something to get invited to LAN. But we got second. And we are in the spot.
So I'm sure, obviously, after finding out that day, I mean, it was probably quite a bit of a change of feeling in the house. I'm sure vibes were up immensely, right?
Yeah, you should have seen it after the last game ended when esports arena they won on match point, and we were just like looking at each other like did we just qualify to LAN? Like, because we didn't have the leaderboard yet, we didn't know. We were waiting. We were waiting just as everyone else was waiting, and we found out, and we're just like, holy shit, we just qualified. We're going to London, baby. Let's go. Yeah, it was good. But yeah, Zero, our IGL on Dark Zero he is insanely impressive. He's such a flexible player when it comes to aggressiveness, passiveness, leading the team, as proven in the past 2 LANs. And I think he actually performs better under pressure. It's actually insane how locked in he can be, and he just just doesn't. I mean, maybe he himself feels it, but from an outside perspective, it's like he doesn't get nervous. Like he plays better when he's in a scenario where he's under pressure. And I was very happy with how Sharky and Jen played throughout Pro League, but also the finals day. Like, they were just so locked in.
So now the groups have been drawn for London. Well, I guess technically they've been drawn for a little bit, right? And I was actually talking with Strafing Flame last week over here on the channel. Dark Zero is in what I think a lot of people would consider the group of death, right? Several regional finals winners, a lobby full of gunnies. We're talking like Raz Elysium, Player K. Obviously, Dark Zero is known for slaying in their own capacity, but how are y'all feeling for Dark Zero as far as with the group draw?
To be honest, we don't really worry about groups too much. We're just going to go and do them when we know what to do. And believe it or not, it's actually, I don't know if I'd say easier, but it's definitely nicer to have teams that you know how to read. Rather than having these random teams that you don't really know that well, and they just do like different things constantly. A lot of Apex and a lot of BR is just avoiding getting griefed and just, obviously playing well. But when you know a team like TSM, a very readable team, most zones you know exactly where they're going to be, the exact comp they're going to be, exactly what guns they're going to use half the time. It's nice to have those type of teams in your lobby because it adds some consistency, and it allows you to play your own game to how you want to play it with less last second changes in game. So yeah, we're not too pressured about groups. So we're actually more focused on earning a drop spot for finals.
Okay, that makes sense though. I mean, I didn't even really think about the consistency factor. That actually it makes a lot of sense. So now we've obviously seen, we always see heading into LANs, this is sometimes the struggles of getting everyone on the same page as far as taking scrims seriously for LAN. But we've been seeing Dark Zero, competing still in the third party, circuit. We've seen Hyperlux, esports arena, stuff like that. But would you say is like the main focus heading into London in order to make sure y'all come back with the dub?
So for Stormpoint, we're actually going to be playing very aggressive from mill. We're going to have a really good fight comp. We found a good niche for Sharky to put him on Bangalore, And on World's Edge, we're actually flipping the switch, and we're going to be playing early rotate Crypto Watson from Frag East.
Ooh,
And
okay.
I'm hoping this combination of aggressiveness on Stormpoint and zone play on Frag East is really going to help us maintain a very consistent level of points to reach match point, and then also give us really good opportunity to pull through with a win to try to win the tournament. So I think that's something that might be a little bit different between us. Like a lot of teams, they like to either play zone on both maps or they like to play edge on both maps.
Right.
We've actually changed it up a little bit to kind of suit our POIs and play style for both maps.
Okay, cool. So, before we get out of here, again, I know you're a super busy guy. I really appreciate you taking some time and sitting down with your boy, but you never know if we have anybody that's sitting in it's maybe thinking about, you mentioned how there's more teams filling in that role of the coach, people looking and trying to get in the line of coaching or even that analyst role. So if someone was looking to get into that, what would your suggestion be to them?
First of all, definitely stream. I think an entry into coaching is showing what you can do in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So stream yourself doing VOD reviews. Be active on Twitter, showing like maybe some analytical data. Maybe do some free coaching VOD reviews of other teams. But when you do this, try not to like bash those teams. Be constructive.
Right. Okay.
So you can like help build relationships and network with people. And then after that, maybe after you've built your own confidence and maybe showed yourself a little bit, just reach out to teams. So it doesn't matter tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, whatever. Just throw yourself in the mix and be like, listen, your next scrim, do you mind if I sit in on you and help out a little bit for free? It doesn't matter. Or do you mind if you send me a VOD and I give you guys some free coaching? That's going to help you networking a lot, and also just help build your own confidence and practice. This is what I did. Was I streamed a lot of VOD reviews, and then I reached out to a team in South America called Singularity, which is actually one of the most dominant teams in South America. They've been to every LAN, and they're going to London as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I was coaching with them for a very brief period of time just for practice. So I was like, hey, you guys want a free coach? I'm trying to practice, and they're like, sure, why not? And I did the same thing in NA. I worked with a team called 2B1C, or Two Brains One Controller.
Okay.
And that was Tech and Noct and Bao. That team didn't last very long, but that's what really kind of pushed me into coaching, and that's what led me into picking up the C9 roster, and that's how my journey started in Apex specifically. But that's what I did in Valorant too. Like I was just playing ranked, and I made some friends, and I was like, hey, are you guys scrimming? Like, do you mind if I sit in on scrims and just help and just practice a little bit coaching? And they're like, sure, why not? Like, people aren't going to deny free coaching. Like,
True. Yeah, that's a good
jump
point.
in.
So PvP, before we get you up on out of here, man, if people are wanting to keep up with you, where's the best place to? Socials, stream, YouTube? Let them know.
So as of recently, I haven't been doing content as much because I've been mostly focused on professional play for coaching and pro league and LAN. But my Twitch handle is PVPx, my YouTube handle is PVPx, and my Twitter is PVPx_, which is where I'm most active. You'll see me complaining about the rank system. Hopefully they change that next season. But
The
yeah,
guy
so
with
I
the
do.
smiley face, you always see.
Yeah, yep. So so I play in the past. I've played a lot of ranked. I've hit top 5 multiple times, and I'm a competitive player myself. So once I do ramp up streaming and doing content more, I'd love to see you guys come. And if you do, tell me you came from the video.
I do got to say, I don't think I was able to stop too much through the Apex, but I know when you were doing the Annihilator Cup, I always enjoyed the vibes while you were doing DBD, since that's where I was kind of focused at the time. So definitely make sure y'all swing through. Say what's up to PvP again, man. Thank you so much for taking time, sitting down with your boy, man. It really means a lot. Now,
Yeah,
guys,
I appreciate you having me.
oh man, honestly, it was a blast. I thought we had a really good conversation. So now, guys, if y'all enjoy these interview style videos over here on the channel, let me know down in those comments who else you'd like us to try and chat with, even if it's here before LANdon. I know it might be a little tough. Some teams are already over there in London, but you never know. We're actually talking with one of NA's top fraggers from Split 1 later this week. Also, if you leave a like on the video, if you made it this far and you enjoyed the vibes, as this is a new channel, and that with those comments are really the two things that help me out the most, get this video in front of new people. And if you are looking forward to that interview, or just want to be back for the next video, or whatever watch parties we're doing over here on the channel, make sure you slap that subscribe button, turn those notifications on. Until we catch y'all back here for the next one, man, don't forget, with everything crazy going on in the world today, be true, be you, be sincere, game hard and love hard. All right, y'all, that's PvP. I'm Q. Y'all have a great rest of y'all's day.